I'm Andy Valadez, Chief Marketing Officer for the Entrepreneur Broadcasting Company. You're listening to the Entrepreneur Channel. Today we're interviewing Joanna Sanchez, who is a professional actress, producer, and acting coach out of Hollywood. And she'll be coming to Texas January 15th through the 18th for a tour, if you will. And we basically have a lot planned. But Joanna, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good, Andy. I can't tell you how excited I am. Andy and I, for everybody, we've been talking about doing this, and we're finally doing this. And I am so committed to the Texas actor, and I love Houston, and I'm just so excited. Is it January 15th yet?
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. But
I know.
we wanted to do this little interview to kind of recap what we have planned. In the past, you've come in on the weekends and you've kind of left us per se, but you've been coming to Texas for several years, and the people that we've been chatting with, we basically say you've been investing in the Texas talent. And what's been your experience over the last several years as you've observed the emerging film market here in Texas?
Well, it's been very exciting for me because my actors are growing, and I went there originally to coach a film, and I kept coming back because some of the actors would just wait for me to come, and I've actually been coaching over the phone a lot to Texas, and some of my actors have actually moved here, and it's great. So I get to work with them here and guide them, once they come to Hollywood, helping them find agents and gearing them towards the right projects. And it's been very exciting for me, really, because I come back and I see the growth. I mean, I teach what I really believe and what I use as an actress myself, what works, and all the training that I have and everything, my secrets, I bring it all. And it's just so gratifying when I get to see, people take my teaching in and deliver great results. I mean, really great results. So it's very gratifying for me, and it's really become like another home for me to come back to Texas. And I was telling somebody it was like 11:30 one morning LA time, which means like 1:30 your time, and I think I got 17 phone calls from Texas that morning. Like, whether it was just counting Texas, when are you coming back, miss you, love you, where are you, and that kind of thing just makes me want to keep coming back, because I believe so much in the work that I do, and I believe, that actors that are ready, can really get enriched from what I have to teach and everything else. So.
Yes, and over the years, I've had an opportunity to attend and watch your classes, whether it be an individual or a semi-private or a small group or even a large group. You brought in special speakers to help your students to discover how to evaluate an agent, what to understand when it comes to production and so forth. And so, as you and I have chatted, we said let's see if we can keep you here, get you here for a longer period of time, and have a well thought out plan as to how to maximize, the training for the students, as well as update those that are in the business through kind of a chance to do some meetups. So I think on January 15th, we're going to be scheduling some 45-minute meetups with production houses, casting agents, and talent agents on Thursday, with an industry reception that evening from like 6 to 8, 6 to 9. I know a lot of these things go longer than, because people like to stick around and chat, but I think we're getting the support of C47, Houston News and Entertainment Magazine. The publisher, Hector Luna, has agreed to support this, as well as Norman Ray Fitz, who heads up the Houston Industry Film Meetup. I think between the two of those, they definitely have several thousand people that are in the film business, and just invite people to come out and get a chance to chat with you and network as well. So what do you think about that reception idea?
Oh my God, I think it's great. The more I can connect and the more I can reach out to people, the better. I mean, I believe so much in what I teach that I want to reach out to as many people as I possibly can, and it's very exciting for me.
Well, the people that know you, they see you as an ambassador. I mean, you're living in Hollywood. You're there with your pulse on your finger on the pulse of what's happening in Hollywood, and the changes that are going on. So anyway, we definitely appreciate you coming to Texas.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's day one, and day two, we plan to train actors with movie scripts and written by Norman Ray Fitz, who is a wonderful writer who I really respect. And I think this will be a great opportunity for my actors. Um, you know, I think it'll be great.
Yeah, he is a storyteller. In fact, we're going to put his bio and profile on your website so people can read more about him. And I've had the
Good.
opportunity to read several of his scripts. They're well written in the right format. The dialogue's incredible, and he is a storyteller. So it's going to be a great honor, I think, for a lot of your students to be able to work with his real scripts, and
Yes.
having you coach them before we get into the next day, which is the production day, which will be
Right.
Saturday the 17th. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we're going to have more script training, and we're going to actually have call sheets for 5 scene productions, where we're going to have hair, makeup, headshots, on-set photography, and it's going to be a movie shoot. And we're going to edit it, and we're going to score the demo reels, and it's going to be directed. These pieces are going to be directed by, after I coach them, by director Steffi Grace, which will be a wonderful opportunity for my actors to meet a strong upcoming director. So this is really, I found as an actress, there's so much that you learn in class, and there's so much to learn about the art of acting. I always say art instead of craft, because craft reminds me of something you find in a box, like for a hobby.
Yes.
But the art of acting, there's so much to learn, but there's also so much to learn, Andy, when you get on a set, and I want to get my actors to be familiar as much as we can with the real process. You can be wonderful in class, but there's more to learn, when we're bringing in an outside director, and we have the camera rolling, and for instance, the camera magnifies everything, so more is less. And I watch my students as a camera. My eye is like a camera anyway. So, I'm always toning my actors down and saying, do less, the camera's going to blow you up. But this is a real life experience where they can, see what it really is like to have an acting job with a director, with a camera, with a script, with makeup, with hair, a call sheet. Now, the call sheet will dictate where they've got to be, and they've got to follow it. I mean, this is the real world.
So you're going to be creating kind of a mini experience, and of course, we'll put Steffi's bio on the website as well, so people can review her history and her background and her interest in production. So
Beautiful.
and she's looking forward to working with your actors. I've told her that your actors are professional actors. They're serious about the business, and so even Norman wants to be on hand to help. Because he's written the story, and it's always interesting to him to see it actually come to life. So he's really looking forward to that and being a part of that too. Yeah, what I've noticed with a lot of actors too, it's some of the headshots get dated, and that's really important to keep that looking current, so to speak. So we definitely are bringing in a headshot photographer to help update those headshots for these actors as well.
Right, very important. If you don't look, for instance, if you don't look like your picture, I read this warning on a casting notice out in California here. If you don't look like your picture, we're sending you home. I mean, it was a little bit, I've never seen anything like that, but it was pretty severe, And the worst thing is when they look at your picture and they go, oh my God, your picture's prettier than you. So, we don't want that. We want a picture to be a realistic portrayal of you, and we're going to have a great on-set photographer, that we're going to have that will be able to deliver that.
Excellent. Now, we've been talking about the production side, but you're offering your students different options because the pricing is going to reflect based on how much they take advantage of the whole weekend. In fact,
Right.
they're invited to the reception. They can participate in the production, and then on Sunday we'll talk about what we have planned for Sunday. But you're still doing the privates, one-on-one, whether they
Yes.
participate in the
Yes,
scripts
I'm
or not.
doing my privates, my semi-privates. I love that. I don't want to give that up. So, yes, I'm going to be making time for doing what I usually do,
And,
which is nonstop coaching when I get there.
yeah, you normally work
So,
24/7,
yes.
right? While you're here.
I'm sorry, what?
I say you normally work 24/7 while you're here for those that have odd schedules.
24/7.
And then also, I mean, let's not miss this part because we've talked about this in the past. It's not just actors per se. You also deal with professionals, business professionals, law enforcement professionals, etc. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, I don't want to say too much about the law enforcement stuff because it is secretive, as you know, right now until we get everything in order. But yes, I've worked with doctors, lawyers, police officers, people of many other kinds of occupations. Because this training is so great for people in sales. I've worked with therapists, lawyers, for instance, when they get up on the stand, if they're boring, nobody cares. So, when lawyers, learn acting techniques, they're much more apt to get listened to because they're gonna become much more interesting, So, yeah, and I am working with law enforcement, absolutely.
Now, with those types of students, basically you block out 1 hour for a private, or however many private hours they want, or
Right.
they have the option to go into a small group where, in essence, they can learn from others that different levels, but you're coordinating those small group interactions.
Right, absolutely. I'm going to have the small groups, the big groups, everything. Everything that I usually do.
Okay, so let's transition back over to the production, because that's really, I think, where a lot of the benefit will be for those of your actors that are in the business that say, "Hey, yeah, I want to participate in the whole thing." So we've already talked about the Thursday reception. We've talked about the training on Friday, Saturday, the production on Saturday. Then on Sunday, you're actually going to show the dailies and have speakers, right?
Correct. On Sunday, we're going to show the dailies. We're going to have a lot of exciting speakers, and it's wonderful for all of us to gain a perspective from people in other areas of the business, like producers, casting directors, agents. We want to be hungry for the knowledge, and we want to get the knowledge because everything knowledge is power. So we want to learn from everybody's perspective. What they're looking for out there and what the trend is and all this stuff. So, Sunday's going to be very valuable.
So let's talk about the dailies real quick. So what's interesting about watching what was shot for an actor? Because you're going to have all the actors there to kind of see, what they didn't see, because there's going to be different scenes that are shot. But there's a lot that can be
Right.
learned from that process. What's it like for an actor to kind of see, oh wow, that did come out, better than I thought or whatnot.
Well, it's all a learning process. And the more, when you get to watch your playback, for instance, we all carry tension, I'm working with an actor that carries tension in their mouth, and I see it because my eye is like a camera, but he never realized that. And if, let's say, we shot him and we would see it on a daily, I would be able to more clearly point that out, and it would be a quicker learning process. So, we get to see things that, areas where we might be overacting, areas where we're not rooted in truth in a scene, areas where we could have made a different choice. I mean, it's so, a lot of actors hate to watch themselves, but you almost have to force yourself because, we learn, it's all a learning process. And when you finally get to a point of really loving a piece that you've done, I recently had that experience. I did 2 auditions for New York. And Andy, I was so unbelievably proud of them because I got to see them on tape because I couldn't run to New York. And I said, oh my God, every single moment I'm in love with.
Okay, we're picking back up here. We just had a little interruption, technical difficulty here, but we were talking about the dailies and the importance of being able to review those, and I think we were able to cover the importance of that. But let's talk about the speakers. We've so far we've got Hector Luna coming in to speak about from his perspective as a publisher who covers the film industry. He gets invited to a lot of screenings, and he gets to cover. He's covered many actors over the last 5 years and their careers and their interests. And so he's definitely a big fan of what you're doing, Joanna. And he's offered to come chat with your students about what he looks for in a production and what he's learned from his other actors. We've got Norman Ray Fitz come in about screenwriting. Ultimately, he's going to talk about how to evaluate a script, the importance of dialogue. He's really kind of a film buff himself, and when he writes these stories, a lot of times he's detached from them because he hands it over to the producers and the directors, and they kind of have their creative way with them. But he still loves to be able to see what they produced and kind of he's always surprised by the differences that happen from what he thought to ultimately what was produced. We also have Ken Marsh, who's going to come in. He's the Fearless Networker. He goes by his company's Fearless Networkers, and he likes to teach about professional networking, which is important in the film business. And then we're reaching out to a top agent and a top casting agent, and ultimately we have a good speakers lineup. What do you think about that, Joanna?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about that. See how we're doing a cross section so that they get points of views from different people in the business, which is so important. That's what we're doing. And because the casting director's perspective is going to be different than the writer's perspective, than a producer's perspective. So I think this is so valuable. I'm so glad I'm going to be there.
Yes, and you'll be there facilitating all this. And we do plan to film the speakers. I think they're blocked for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
we think
I definitely want to film the speakers. Yes, and we talked about doing that. So we're going to do that, right?
Yeah, we think this information is valuable to anyone who maybe can't make the class eventually, but we'll figure out how to make that available to them. Those that can't make it, mainly for scheduling purposes, if you will. What else can you say? What do you think about all the way this is coming together?
Well, as I'm saying, you and I have been talking about this for a long time, and I'm so happy that it's happening, and I think the beginning of the year, what a wonderful way to start 2015, and with just everybody jumping in and getting their work to a higher level, because nobody's going to leave the same. Nobody.
Well, this solves many things for you. I think a lot of times, when your students are you're working with your students, you're getting to know them, and you're assessing where they're at. It's you're able to help influence. So in essence, they're working into your influence network by participating in your classroom, but by now having the videos available to be able to share with someone online. I think that's going to be another opportunity for your actors to be able to be reviewed by your network. Whenever projects come up.
Oh yes, and I can see how ready my people are. Because as you know, Andy, I love helping people. And I do whatever I can, and my people that know me know that my phone is always open, and I'm very supportive, and I love helping people, and I love helping people get work.
Yes.
And that's why I don't want to, I want to make this more about a teaching experience. I want to make it a networking experience. I want to make it, as big a learning pool as we can, and I think we're doing it.
Well, great. So
I know we're doing it.
Well, let's give the audience your contact information and where they can go to get information about this next class.
Sure, JoannaSanchezEntertainment.com and JoannaSanchezEntertainment.com or 310-801-2561 is my cell. And I'd love to talk to people and love to have everybody there.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you for making this time available for this interview. And I always look forward to chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Andy. I'm so excited.
Okay, my name is Andy Valadez. I'm Chief Marketing Officer for the Entrepreneur Broadcasting Company. You've been listening to the Entrepreneur Channel, and we want to thank you again for listening.